Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and today I'm doing a public service video for my stepper being too far in the past. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for supporting the channel, and also let you know that if you're interested, I've recently launched a Patreon page. On Patreon, I have two membership options, which for just $5 a month, that really helps me out and generates some additional income that I use to plow directly back into the channel. Part of the benefits of supporting me via Patreon, I've taken a lot of the tools I've developed over the years. You can still use all the tools, the calculators, and I'll continue to add functionality. But what I've done is, like in the case of the OrcaSlicer settings, you now have the ability to export out these new settings that it's generated for you as an OrcaSlicer profile. Over on the cost calculator, you now have the ability, you can save your invoices so you can go back to them, some reviews and analysis. If you're logged in with Patreon, you click Analyze, it'll actually go out, find video with the most number of clicks. So I also have reviews and analysis on various 3D printers so you can get some additional information. So again, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And now let's go back to the video. When I upgraded several weeks ago to the latest version of the firmware for the Creality K2 Plus, I wound up rolling back to a previous version because nothing quite worked right. And I assumed it was Creality basically releasing subpar firmware because it's not like there haven't been issues in the past. Now, I'm seeing errors like no trigger on X after full movement. The other errors I was seeing was stepper occurred too far in the past, which I thought was a weird one. Turns out a lot of these errors have to do with too many commands are being sent to the printer simultaneously. And it appears that has something to do with a relatively recent Klipper update that Creality has integrated. Now, it turns out, when I really dug into this, the culprit, or the source of my error at least, was the fact that I was using OrcaSlicer. Now, I followed the directions on the forums. I rolled back to a previous version. In fact, I rolled back to 1.1.3.13 version of the firmware. In fact, a lot of people used my video to roll back their firmware when they experienced this issue. Well, it turns out that this appears to be related to the acceleration commands that are being sent via OrcaSlicer to the printer, because apparently you don't see these errors if you use Creality Print. Now, I thought about switching to Creality Print, but why am I going to do that for one printer when I have several, and I prefer just to do everything in OrcaSlicer? So with that being said, I wound up yesterday really looking into this. I upgraded my Creality K2 Plus with the DXC2 Extruder. Turns out that you need the latest firmware for that to work. So I had to upgrade. It was having the same errors again. Now, I finally found this yesterday, which is a slicing compatibility thing. And it turns out Creality has released an OrcaSlicer config, and I've downloaded that. And in using this config, when I update my OrcaSlicer to these settings, particularly the acceleration settings, all of a sudden I'm back in business and I'm no longer getting these errors. So I just wanted to show everybody how I fix this. And let's switch over to OrcaSlicer and we'll take a look. So I'm just going to start off. I downloaded that profile. I'm going to open it up, and I've set up OrcaSlicer where I can open up two windows. Now, this is sort of stupid. I'm just hitting OK on everything. Now, for whatever reason, Creality has called this profile the Creality K1 Max, which they have it on the K2 Plus page, but I'm just going to let that go. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to move this window over to here. And basically what I did was I looked at all of the values here that were in orange. All of those had changed values. And I just basically went back and forth. Some key ones, I'm going to go up here and hit edit. And you'll notice again that everything in orange, something's been changed. So I'm just going to leave these to go back and forth between the two. And you can sort of just follow along. I want to make sure that everything here is the same as over here. And you're just going to go back and forth through these and make sure they match. Now, there was nothing here I thought that was significantly different. The G code, start code, I had to delete mine. I'm starting fresh. The accelerations and everything else, I went ahead and made sure those matched up. The other key value is, again, you notice at the top they changed emit to G code. I changed that. So just change those back and forth. Look for anything in orange in the Creality profile, and anything in orange, you need to make sure that things match going back and forth. Now I am noticing, at least here, they have a 5,000 here. I have a 1,000, so we're going to up that on mine. And let's go back. Accidentally closed it. So let's open it back up. Now, the big change I think that makes the difference is if you go over here to speed, we want to make sure that down here towards the bottom, the default profile for OrcaSlicer has this top value and the bottom value set to 12,000. Now I just went over here and changed those. Now you want to make sure you change these across all your different profiles you're using, your process profiles. But as far as I can tell, if you do this, those errors will disappear and you'll be able to print fully with OrcaSlicer in the latest version of K2 Plus firmware. So again, you just want to make sure you go through and go back and forth, make sure everything matches up, and you should be good to go. So hopefully that helps. I'll put a link to the Creality profile, and hopefully you'll find this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Have a good day.